Hi and welcome to volume of a cone, sphere and pyramid. Just before we start, a reminder that there is a notes jotter available for this video. Just check the description below for a download link and you can work along with me as we go through the video. So we're going to begin with the volume of a pyramid, and for this one you must be aware that you will not be given this formula in an exam. It's one that you will need to remember. So the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. So regardless of what shape it is at the base, if you can find the area of it, you multiply it by the height and then multiply by 1/3. So let's try it for this shape. We have a square base pyramid, and so to find the volume, all we're going to do is we're going to use that formula. So it's going to be 1/3 times the area of the base. Well, the area of the base is going to be 5 times 5, so that is 25, and then multiplied by the height. So 1/3 times 25 times 6. And so if we do this in a slightly different order, 1/3 times 6 is 2, so 2 times 25 is 50. The volume of this square base pyramid will be 50 centimetres cubed. Now we move on to the volume of a cone, and this will be provided in the exam. So if you're asked to find the volume of a cone, you will be told that it is 1/3 pi r squared h. But I just want to point out what you can see here. Pi r squared pi r squared, well, that is the area of a circle. And in this case, the circle is the base. And so what we actually find is the volume of a cone is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height, which is exactly what we have here. 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. It's the same formula. So with a cone, we're just going to try and find some values. So we've been told that the volume is 1/3 of pi r squared times the height. Well, in this case, it's going to be 1/3 times pi times 3 squared, which is 9, times the height, which is 8. So let's just have a look at this one. 1/3 times 9 is 3, so 3 times 8 is 24. So it gives me 24 pi, and if I just grab a calculator quickly, 24 pi, well, that equals 75.40 centimetres cubed. If we try it again here, in this case we've been given the slant height, so we need to just remember that within this what we actually have is a right angle triangle in order to find the height. And so the first thing, we're going to use a little bit of Pythagoras in order to find the height of this triangle. And so that's going to be 10 squared, take away 6 squared as it's a short side, and then square rooted. And so 100 take away 36 is 64. So I'm looking for the square root of 64, which equals 8. So the height here is 8 centimetres, and the volume is given by 1/3 times pi times the radius squared times the height. And so that's 1/3 times 36, so that's 12. 12 times 8 is 96. So that is 96 pi, which if I grab my calculator, I can just type straight in as 96 pi, and that is 301.59 centimetres cubed. Lastly, we have the volume of a sphere, and the formula there is 4/3 pi r cubed. Now again, this will be provided in the exam at any point where you are going to be dealing with the volume of a sphere. And so 4/3 pi r cubed, let's try and use that for our football. So we've been told our formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. Now what that means is we need the radius. Now in this case we've only been given the diameter, and so from the diameter I'm going to have to work out what the radius is, and so it'll be half. That is 11 centimetres. So the volume of the football is going to be 4/3 times pi times 11 cubed. And all I'm going to do, once again, grab my calculator and type in exactly what we have. 4/3 times pi times 11 cubed, and that is 5,575.28 centimetres cubed. Now, what if it is a hemisphere? Well, a hemisphere is half of a sphere. And because we're dealing with volume here, we're just seeing how much will actually fit inside of a hemisphere. So it's going to be half of what would fit inside of a full sphere. And so if the full sphere is 4/3, well, half of that is 2/3. So a hemisphere will be 2/3 pi r cubed. And so all I need to do here is 2/3 times pi times 4 cubed. And again, just grabbing the calculator and typing in exactly that. So 2/3 times pi times 4 cubed. And that gives me 134.04 centimetres cubed. Okay, so we end with the exam question, and this one came from the OCR paper in November 2008, and it was higher paper 4. It gives us a diagram of a cylinder and a diagram of a sphere. The cylinder has a radius of 12 centimetres and height 30 centimetres. The cylinder and the sphere have the same volume. Work out the radius r centimetres of the sphere. And in brackets there, you'll notice the volume V of a sphere with radius r is V equals 4/3 pi r cubed. You've been provided with the formula in the question. So the first thing we need to think about is, how do we find the volume of a cylinder? Well, a volume of a cylinder, this is like a prism, therefore we need to find the area of the cross section and multiply it by the height. So the cylinder, this is going to be pi times 12 squared and times 30. And so all we need to do here is grab our calculator, and that's going to be pi times 12 squared times 30, which is, and I'm actually going to leave it in terms of pi here, 4320 pi. And there's a reason why I'm keeping it in terms of pi. The volume of the sphere is also going to have pi in it, so when we equate them, it's actually easier just to leave them in terms of pi. Now the sphere, all we know about the sphere is that that is 4/3 pi r cubed. We don't know anything else about it, so all we know though is that they have the same volume, and therefore the 4/3 pi r cubed must equal 4320 pi. Now this is where leaving it in terms of pi is helpful, because I can now just divide both sides by pi. And now if I want to get r cubed all on its own, well, I will divide by 4/3, and I'll do that on both sides of my equation. And so 4320, if I grab my calculator, 4320 divided by 4/3, well, that equals 3240. And then if I need to get r all on its own, which is the aim here, to find the radius, well, I'm going to have to do the cube root on both sides. And so the cube root is there, and that is of 3240, and if I press equals, it is 14.797